I'm Captain Monte with Texas Fishing Tips, and this is your weekly fishing report.
We've still been having little fronts come in, blowing out of the northeast. This weekend, got another front coming in, but it's supposed to be nice out here at the end of the jetties. We've been working live shrimp out here under a knocker rig. You can use a half-ounce weight all the way up to a 2-ounce weight, just depending how that current's moving through here. There have been slot reds out here. We've been catching bull reds. We've been catching pompanos out here. Still catching the sheephead out here. There have been Spanish mackerel popping. There's been a lot of menhaden coming into the bays right now. They're all working this whole channel coming into Port A. All out here in front of the rocks, right on the point, all the way out to the green or red buoys. Been holding fish. If that current's moving too hard, put your 2 or 3 ounce weight right on top of the hook. I used a number 4, number 5 Kell hook and dropped them baits straight down. Menhaden's working real well out here. Cut mullet, live shrimp has been working real well for myself. So all this area out here has got potential to get a variety of fish. If the wind's blowing too hard, right out here in front, there's still been good sized reds hanging out here in front with sheephead. All this area out in front of Fina Docks right now, all the way down to the ferries. If you've got live croaker, which they are starting to sell live croaker, these rock piles working all the way down to the ferries. Up against this bank has been holding good trout. You can also come on the other side over here by Charlie's pasture up against these docks and these houses. There's been some black drum hanging off over here. There's still a few sheephead. There's a lot of small sheephead, but there still are some bigger ones through there. Especially with that north wind blowing. You can come down here past Island Moorings where they built this got these rocks running right up against the bank for these ships to keep the erosion from happening up against the point of Mustang Island on the northeast wind. And if the water clarity's right, good speckled trout through here mixed in with redfish. You can come over here to the other side, over here on Pelican. There's some scattered rocks out here deeper, popping corks and live shrimp, or your live croaker been working real well all through here. You can come on the back side. There's also some little platforms out here. We've been catching some pretty good numbers of trout out here on these wells. So these are all good areas to target around Port Aransas also. You come back over here on the inside of Mustang Island, and there's some scattered rocks through here. Live croaker or shrimp under a popping cork. Them trout are going to start showing up through here. Good areas. There's some sandbars that come out a little further off the point of Mustang. Trout love this area all the way down to this little cut out here that goes back into the back lakes. If you get back in here tight, there have been some redfish through here mixed in with black drum. So all this area around Port Aransas, all the way to Pelican, and pretty much all the way down to Flato, all this whole edge, there's been redfish and trout holding off right on these grass banks. You can come into Flato. There have been some black drum hanging off in Flato mixed in with some redfish also. Dead shrimp or live shrimp for the black drum. And if you've got cut mullet or cut menhaden, that's been the ticket for the redfish. Even popping corks with shrimp have been catching redfish. So there have been a lot of fish coming in, especially with these higher tides that we've been having. So a new batch of fish coming in from the Gulf, and they're just working their ways down these shorelines. First thing in the morning, out here at Ransom Point, all this area from this channel from Mickey's all the way on this edge, up in this greener water, up in these grass. Live croaker been the ticket. A lot of the bait stands are starting to sell croaker. First thing in the morning, been good trout holding off all along this edge, all the way from Ransom, all the way down to Dagger. All this area through here, about 3 to 4 foot of water, been holding trout. Then as the sun comes up, if you've got cut menhaden or cut ladyfish or cut mullet, all these little islands on the inside, been holding good numbers of trout. If you've got some dead shrimp, there have been good numbers of black drum all around this area from Dagger all the way back into Redfish Bay, up against these islands. Find those sand pockets up against this ICW. Been pretty good numbers of redfish mixing with black drum. If you get back up through this part of this island, up back here in the back on this back reef, there have been black drum scattered through here. If on the good clear days you can get up high, you can actually see the schools of redfish. Back here in the back, up on this back shoreline, there's a little deeper water, about 3 foot through here, with some sand working right on the edges. This area has been holding pretty good numbers of redfish. Cut mullet has been the ticket for myself, but menhaden's been working, and cut ladyfish. Corpus Christi Bay is coming to life. A lot of fish are coming through from Ingleside area, and they're making their way to the back bay. So all these piers out here, Portland shoreline, coming out. If you can get you some live croaker or live shrimp under a popping cork or free lining, I pretty much like free lining live croaker. Trout first thing in the morning have been holding off all around these piers. As the sun comes up and it gets a little brighter, switch over to dead shrimp or live shrimp, just with a little lead weight. There have been black drum hanging off on them piers also. Get down here, down on the beachfront here, as the sun pokes up with some cut mullet or cut menhaden. There have been redfish hanging off on these rocks, and on these little inlets that are coming in off these rocks. It's a good place to target them fish, especially when the tide is moving. Out here in Corpus Bay, live croaker or live shrimp, free lining. There have been trout starting to show up on these wells out here. There's still some sheephead out here. We've also caught a couple pompano. There's some bull reds out here mixed in with some black drum. So this is the time of the season right now that the fish are coming in from the Gulf, and they're hitting these platforms out here, and then they're just making their way on back to the back bay. So all this area, hitting these shorelines or out here in the front of Corpus on them gas wells, have been holding pretty good numbers of fish. Out here on the T-heads, for those of you that don't have a boat, early in the morning with your favorite artificial, you know, any kind of twitch bait has been catching redfish through here. Rapalas, been working real well. You can catch trout out here as sun pokes up. We've been catching a few black drum. All these little cuts and inlets that are in between these rocks are a good place to catch your redfish, black drum, and trout right now.
Thanks for watching. This is Captain Monte Graham.